Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we had a Smackdown last night on what I was about to say February, but it's March 28th. I mean, we're already into March already. So close to WrestleMania. But I figured we'd jump into the show. I think the show was very match heavy, which I don't necessarily think is a bad problem. I do think some of these matches weren't the greatest, which we'll go over match by match and stuff. But I do kind of like that they at least had a lot of different avenues open tonight. So we at least got a lot of different stuff so we can kind of figure it out because we had some pretty good promos too. So like they really jam-packed this episode, which if you liked it or didn't like it could be a problem, but I think it was jam-packed enough to warrant some of the I don't even say worse matches, but like there was some other stuff that wasn't the greatest. So we start off the show with Cody Rhodes, then eventually Randy Orton coming down to interrupt him, basically just giving him his flowers and then saying that he wants next, which I do want this is very confusing for me on the Cody's like title thing because I like Cody as champion. I do feel like him losing to John Cena would be a generational, like, big giant match, but I also want to see more feuds that he has open. And like I know it's not like as much of a timetable, especially with Randy and Rhodes. We could see that again down the line, but I feel like I don't know. I kind of want to see this. So, and especially with Backlash being in St. Louis and me going to Backlash, I definitely wouldn't mind seeing this. I'm leaning towards having Rhodes retain just because I want to see this at Backlash. But then we had Drew McIntyre come down and try to destroy both of them on the mic, and then eventually them beating him up and him escaping. I do like that feud. I mean, that would be a really good triple threat and a good feud for Backlash if they try to do maybe a triple threat. But yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that. I'll put this in S. Great start of the show. Pretty much all the shows have been just sandwiched between good starts and good ending on almost all of the sides, and I'm glad. I'm glad that they've been doing that more, and it really does make it a nice, beautiful sandwich. Then we had the Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly for the tag team championships. Honestly, this match was really just like a really good tag team match because Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford already have insane chemistry, and then Pretty Deadly just showed a lot of different stuff. I thought it was very unique that there was a lot of moves where the other one who wasn't the active man took the hit, so the other guy didn't have to take the damage, and I was like, that's a kind of a clever, smart thing that you don't see in a lot of tag team matches, and I kind of like that. This match I feel like was probably one of the better ones of the night. I obviously we have to go down match by match, but I absolutely really liked it. I think for the storytelling, everything, I'd put it in the A. It definitely could have probably used a little bit more technically sound in some areas, and it was a bit short, but for what we saw and what it was, I thought it was good because yeah, it was a solid match. Next up, we had the secret Hervis versus KC2. This there's a lot to unpack on this one. One, I'm gonna start with the secret Hervis. I like that they put Alba Fire in it. I think having a legitimate tag team with it is really cool. Now, the problem with this is it kind of only works if Chelsea Green is the U.S. champion. It might work a little bit if she's trying to reclaim it, but I feel like that's kind of the only issue with that is like it has a limited time window. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Chelsea Green holds on the title for 700 days and we never have to worry about it. I don't know, but I kind of don't like that. I mean, at least for like Alba Fire, like she's kind of on the outside looking in. Maybe she could still break off and be a tag team with Piper Niven if that's what they're going to try to do. I like it. I like the dynamic that they have. Now, to beat a legitimate tag team like KC2 is kind of crazy because like I know they're trying to set it up that like, they're just running over everybody. So whoever does, which is probably Zelina Vega, stand up and take out Chelsea Green, it's like a bigger moment. But like this is a legitimate tag team. They should at least have lost like to something completely dirty. Like there was a little bit of shenanigans, but not enough to just get destroyed. They also had a lot of miscues, unfortunately, for being like the legitimate tag team. It kind of was rough to see. I definitely don't mind putting this as the worst match of the night. I watched it twice because like I watched it by myself and then my partner was behind, so we watched it together, and so I had to see it twice, and I was like, yeah, I kind of understand why I'm putting this as low as it was because It just was a little bit too rough, especially for having like 6 minutes. They had a pretty solid match time, and it just wasn't the greatest. Then we had LA Knight versus Braun Strowman for the U.S. title. This match I thought was starting to get like a little bit of momentum, and then we had Jacob Fatu cause the no contest. I like the idea of it. I do feel like they should have just caused a no contest sooner, because it was like you kind of just wasted a little bit of time there. And like, I mean, I know it's supposed to be kind of like out of the blue, but we kind of thought something like that might happen anyways. I think altogether, I'd probably put the match in the C. It was just too small, and they didn't really get much of a cadence down because I think they knew that they weren't going to actually have a match. We also had, I think a little bit after this was Fatu Solo and Tama Tonga in the back being like, Fatu's going to handle his own business. He's going to get the title. I like this as like a triple threat potentially, and you could even add Nakamura if you want like a fatal four way at WrestleMania, just to have a little extra bodies in there. Andrade too. I mean, we could make it look good. I am glad that it looks like LA Knight's gonna at least have some type of working rivalry maybe going into it with either Fatu or Braun Strowman or both. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, but the match itself wasn't the greatest, but I don't think it was designed to do much. We've got the official Ray Phoenix, yeah, like saying that Ray Phoenix is coming to SmackDown. I do think it's a really good idea to have Ray and Penta away from each other for a little bit, because it's going to be natural just to put them in a tag team. And yes, they're amazing as tag team partners, but I think they should get a little bit of a solo run before they do hook them up as a tag team. Even if it's just for like a month or two, I think it will be worth it. I think hopefully they give him like the Penta treatment, let him go out there, do his thing, be a beast, and just run the table. So I like it. I'm gonna put it up in S. We also had the Mystics like smoke with the four. That's possibly Aleister Black. I forgot to put it down in the tier list, but those ones I'm enjoying because I don't know who it exactly is. But those ones could also be kind of bad if not. I actually put these mixed up, but essentially what happened was Meacham and BFAB were coming down, talking to Jade in the back, saying that you know, Naomi's crazy and all this type of stuff. And then Naomi then jumped Meacham and BFAB before her match against Charlotte Flair, which I thought was pretty crazy. Jade makes the save, gets BFAB out of there, and then there's a match afterwards. I like this storyline. I like the Jade and Naomi storyline. I think it's going to be a very good WrestleMania match. I'm going to put it up in S tier. I'm enjoying it. And then we actually had the match, which like Charlotte Flair immediately went for a pin, and I thought that might be over with, but they actually let them actually have a full on match. I wish the match was a little bit better. It definitely felt like Meacham was doing everything. It felt like she was holding that entire match, and then just to kind of lose, kind of felt out of the blue. Obviously, she was kind of doing that comeback because she was hurt, but it just felt kind of like you're killing Meacham's momentum quite a bit. I'm gonna put it in C. I think it was slightly better than the Braun and LA Knight match, but I definitely think there could have been better stuff. Then because of the stuff in the beginning of the show, we had Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. I did like this match. I figured something would happen because they're just two like behemoths having just a random SmackDown match. But Drew wins on the distraction by Kevin Owens coming down to further their feud. I thought it was a pretty solid match. I'd put it in B. I don't think it was anything too crazy, but again, it was just to serve the storyline of furthering the WrestleMania plots, and that's fine. I mean, that's what these shows are going to be about. That's why I don't mind all these kind of semi okay matches, because they're at least getting some plots going for further bigger storylines. It's always going to take a little bit sometimes to like get them off the ground. Then we had the Miz versus Jimmy Uso. You know, Miz was talking crap in the back, and Jimmy decided to go. I like Jimmy's character. I just wish these matches were a little bit better. I don't think he necessarily had a bad one here. He was already on his 13th match of the year, which I think is pretty crazy. So I thought that was kind of an interesting stat. He has the most matches on televised than any other person. And yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that they use this momentum to put him somewhere. The problem is, I think he's just in a no man's land in SmackDown, but he has to be near Roman to possibly be around that storyline. So like, it just kind of sucks for him because I don't think there's much for him to do. This match, I think it was okay. I put it in C. It was probably the best out of the three C matches. If I was like to rate him, I would put him like that. But I don't think it was necessarily too good or bad. I'm glad they still put it on there. It was good to see the Miz too. I'm like, I'm glad you get to see some extra stars during this time because we always just like have a bunch of people in the roster that we just do not see. And if you don't watch the little vignettes on their like WWE X, like you, there's a lot that you just miss because they don't really do it. Then we had Drew McIntyre, happy as a hell, going to the pub, and Damian Priest waiting out there for him and slamming him through this car. I like this feud. I feel like a lot of people were upset about it at first, but I honestly I like the feud because one, both men don't really have anything else going for them, so like this is a solid feud to put together, and it will get them a WrestleMania match that actually has some deeper story with Drew believing Damian Priest has always been to capitalize over his mistakes, and I think that's kind of a cool thing that they have going. And then seeing CM Punk walk up and see Drew just still in the glass is it's good. It's good. I thought that was a good comical moment for like a dark thing. I'm gonna put it up in S. Then we had the contract signing. I think this really struggled with them using way too much time. Every once in a while, you can tell where like time is definitely overran, and like these European crowds, they're amazing, but they've definitely been really toting the line for the just timing in general of like being a little bit off towards the end because they have to rush it in. But CM Punk got his WrestleMania main event. Now, what is this? Like, so like it's not his favor. So like why is this the main event? I mean, it's a beautiful star-powered thing, but like they made such a big deal like that was going to be the favor. And like the other thing I don't really understand is J1. So where does that put Jay? Because obviously Cody and Cena are Night Two's main event. I don't know how you can't put that there. So then where does their match go? I don't know. It's very odd. I don't know what's going on there. I think they're trying to like hide that, but I don't. I'm not necessarily against it. The talking here was good. Seth Rollins crashing out because CM Punk is getting what he wants. I like that too. I think that was a pretty good, nice touch. This match and feud is going to be good, so I'll put it up in S tier. I think overall, I'd probably put the show as a B. It definitely struggled with having so many matches that were okay, but I think a lot of these set up bigger storylines down the line, so I wouldn't change it. There's not even really a match here that I would necessarily say we should get rid of. Like, if I really was going to be nitpicky, I would say the LA Knight one, you could have cut off time with it having the no contest should have been right away. You could have gave a little bit extra time to possibly the Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, maybe even the Mecha match a little bit, and those could have probably raised up a little bit higher. And then this tag match, it just felt like it suffered from just kind of just bad chemistry for the actual tag team in there. So there's not much saving that one. It was just a bad match. But yeah, if you guys enjoy these SmackDown reviews, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I do Raw, Evolve, and SmackDown reviews. So they're always like a day after the event, and we have a bunch of Jesus, I just choked at the end of this. A bunch of other stuff coming up on this channel going to WrestleMania. But bye, guys.